Welcome to Psychodepthh. I'm Mark Glat, and here we explore the hidden side of human psychology, behavior, and the deeper patterns behind how people think, feel, and react. On this channel, we break down complex human thoughts into simple, practical insights, so you can understand not just others, but also yourself on a much deeper level. From emotional intelligence and attraction psychology to hidden behavioral patterns, everything here is based on awareness, observation, and real psychological understanding. If you're curious about why people act the way they do, how intuition works, and what actually drives human decisions beneath the surface, then you're in the right place. So stay tuned, because what you're about to learn might completely change the way you see people and the world around you. People often say women are too emotional, but this idea oversimplifies how the female brain actually works.
In reality, women tend to process emotions and logic together rather than separating the two. This doesn't make their thinking weaker. It often makes it more complex, balanced, and context-aware. When a woman makes a decision, she is not just reacting emotionally. She is simultaneously evaluating facts, past experiences, social cues, and emotional signals. This layered processing allows for a deeper understanding of situations, especially those involving people and relationships. From a neurological perspective, research suggests that there are stronger connections between the emotional and logical centers of the brain in women. This means that feelings are not isolated from reasoning. They actively inform it. For example, when faced with a difficult choice, a woman may consider not only what is logically correct, but also how it will impact others, how it aligns with her values, and what subtle signals might indicate future outcomes. This creates a more holistic decision-making process. This is also why women are often more attuned to tone, body language, and unspoken emotions. Their brains are constantly integrating multiple layers of information at once. While some might interpret this as overthinking, it is actually a sophisticated form of analysis that combines emotional intelligence with rational thought. In many real-life situations, such as relationships, teamwork, or conflict resolution, this ability can lead to better outcomes because it accounts for both logic and human factors. Another important aspect is emotional regulation. Processing emotions does not mean being controlled by them. In fact, many women develop a strong ability to understand and manage emotions, both their own and others. This can enhance communication, improve empathy, and help in navigating complex social environments. Instead of seeing emotion as a weakness, it should be viewed as valuable data that supports better decision-making. However, it's important to remember that these are general patterns, not absolute rules. Every individual is different, and thinking styles vary widely regardless of gender. Still, understanding these tendencies can help break common stereotypes and lead to more respect for different ways of thinking and reasoning. If you found this insight helpful and want to explore more about human psychology, relationships, and hidden behavior patterns, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next deep dive. The idea that the female brain is highly efficient at handling multiple streams of information at once is rooted in how attention, perception, and social awareness often work together. In many situations, women tend to process not just the obvious information in front of them, but also a range of subtle cues happening at the same time. This includes tone of voice, facial expressions, body language, and even the emotional atmosphere of a room. Instead of focusing on a single detail, the brain is distributing attention across multiple layers of input. This ability is closely connected to what psychologists call parallel processing. Rather than analyzing one thing step by step, the brain integrates different types of information simultaneously. For example, during a conversation, a woman might be listening to the words being spoken while also noticing slight changes in tone, pauses, eye contact, and posture. All of this information is quickly combined to form a deeper understanding of what the other person truly means, not just what they say on the surface. Because of this, women are often quicker at detecting inconsistencies. If someone says something positive but their tone sounds off or their body language seems tense, that mismatch is picked up almost instantly. This doesn't mean men can't do the same, but on average, women tend to rely more on these combined signals when interpreting situations. It gives them an advantage in social environments where communication is not always direct or clear. Another important factor is awareness of the environment. Many women naturally scan their surroundings more broadly, noticing small changes that others might ignore. This could be something as simple as a shift in someone's mood, a slight change in group dynamics, or even subtle risks in a situation. This type of awareness is often described as being observant, but it is actually the result of the brain continuously processing multiple inputs at once. However, this strength can sometimes feel overwhelming. Taking in so much information simultaneously can lead to mental fatigue or overanalysis, especially in emotionally intense situations. When the brain is constantly evaluating multiple signals, it may become harder to switch off, which is why some people describe this as overthinking. In reality, it is just the mind trying to make sense of a large amount of incoming data. Overall, this ability to process multiple streams of information is not about being better or worse. It is simply a different cognitive style. It allows for deeper social understanding, quicker recognition of subtle signals, and more context-aware responses. In many real-life situations, especially those involving communication and relationships, this kind of processing can be extremely valuable because it captures the full picture rather than just isolated details. Women often appear more attentive to small details that others might overlook, especially in social situations. This includes noticing subtle facial expressions, slight changes in behavior, or even shifts in someone's tone of voice. These details may seem minor on their own, but when combined, they provide a deeper understanding of what a person is truly feeling or thinking. This ability is closely linked to social awareness and observation skills. Instead of focusing only on what is being said, many women naturally pay attention to how it is being said. For example, a simple sentence can carry different meanings depending on tone, eye contact, or body language. By picking up on these cues, women are often able to detect emotions like discomfort, hesitation, or excitement, even when they are not directly expressed. Another reason behind this detail-oriented perception is the brain's tendency to connect patterns. When similar behaviors or signals are observed repeatedly, the mind starts recognizing patterns and predicting outcomes. This means that even a small change in someone's usual behavior can stand out quickly. Over time, this builds a strong sense of awareness that helps in understanding people more accurately. This skill is especially useful in relationships, teamwork, and communication. It allows for better empathy, quicker responses to emotional needs, and more effective interaction overall. However, it can also lead to overanalyzing situations at times, where too much meaning is attached to small actions. Overall, noticing small details is not just about observation, it is about interpretation. It helps create a fuller picture of what is happening beneath the surface, making interactions more meaningful and informed. What is often labeled as being emotional is frequently misunderstood. In reality,
This trait is closely connected to emotional intelligence, which is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage emotions, both in oneself and in others.
Rather than being a weakness, it is a powerful cognitive and social skill that plays a major role in how people navigate relationships and complex situations. Emotional intelligence allows a person to pick up on subtle emotional cues, such as changes in tone, facial expressions, or behavior. This awareness helps in understanding what others might be feeling, even when they do not express it directly. As a result, responses are often more thoughtful and appropriate to the situation. Instead of reacting impulsively, emotionally intelligent individuals tend to pause, interpret the context, and then respond in a way that maintains balance and connection. Another important aspect is the ability to regulate emotions. Feeling deeply does not mean losing control. It often means having more information to work with. When emotions are understood properly, they can guide better decisions. For example, sensing tension in a conversation might encourage someone to approach the situation more carefully, preventing conflict from escalating. This strength is especially valuable in social and professional environments. It improves communication, builds trust, and helps in resolving misunderstandings more effectively. People who are emotionally aware are often better at forming strong relationships because they can empathize, listen actively, and respond with sensitivity. However, emotional intelligence is not about overreacting or being overwhelmed by feelings. It is about using emotions as a tool to better understand situations and people. When viewed this way, what is often dismissed as being too emotional can actually be seen as a refined ability to process human experiences on a deeper level, leading to more meaningful interactions and smarter decisions. Intuition in women is often described as something mysterious or almost magical, but in reality, it is deeply rooted in how the brain processes information. It is not about guessing or making random assumptions. It is about rapid pattern recognition. The brain constantly stores past experiences, emotional memories, and observed behaviors. Over time, it builds a large internal database of patterns. When a similar situation appears again, the brain quickly compares it with past experiences and produces a response that feels like a gut feeling. This process happens so fast that it doesn't always reach conscious awareness. For example, a woman might feel that something is off in a conversation without being able to immediately explain why. However, her brain has already picked up on subtle cues, such as tone changes, micro-expressions, hesitation, or inconsistencies in behavior, and matched them with previous experiences. The result is an intuitive judgment that often turns out to be accurate. One reason this intuition can be strong is the tendency to pay attention to emotional and social details. When someone regularly observes how people behave, react, and communicate, the brain becomes better at recognizing patterns in those behaviors. Over time, this creates a refined ability to predict outcomes or sense underlying intentions. It's not luck. It's learned awareness operating at high speed. Intuition also plays an important role in decision-making. In situations where there is limited time or incomplete information, relying only on slow, logical analysis may not be practical. This is where intuition becomes valuable. It provides a quick direction based on accumulated knowledge and experience. While it may not always be perfect, it often serves as a reliable first signal that can then be supported or adjusted with conscious reasoning. However, it's important to understand that intuition is influenced by personal experiences. This means it can sometimes be biased or shaped by past emotions, Not every intuitive feeling is correct, which is why balancing intuition with critical thinking is essential. The strongest decision-making comes from combining both: fast pattern recognition and careful analysis. In everyday life, this intuitive ability can be incredibly useful. It helps in understanding people, avoiding potential problems, and making faster judgments in complex social situations. Instead of dismissing it as something irrational, it should be recognized as a cognitive skill developed through experience and observation. If you found this explanation helpful and want to explore more insights about human psychology, behavior, and hidden thinking patterns, make sure to like, share, and follow for more content like this. This content is for general educational and informational purposes only. Individual thinking styles and abilities can vary widely, and these patterns do not apply equally to everyone.